on 4th of Feb 2022, I was thinking during the day, okay, in the evening, I'll go and we'll have coffee. But in the evening, I was sleeping in a dark cell. I did not want my parents to see me, like behind those iron bars and in a lockup or in handcuffs or something like that.
There's a pattern in your case that I have seen in other cases as well, but it just appears to me that you were stuck in this revolving door of arrests, in the sense that there were several occasions on which you nearly got out, you nearly got bail, or your PSA was set aside, but somehow you couldn't quite get out. You'd be stuck in one case while you'd be getting out in another. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think the moment I was arrested on 4th Feb 2022, in the evening around 9 p.m., I think I was told to sign the arrest memo, and I did. And I spoke to my mother and told her that I'm not coming back. And I think that time, obviously, I thought that this was just this one case. And then I think in the coming days, there were some statements or whatever came out in the press that there are other cases against me in which I am required. At that point of time, I think I had the idea that I'll be taken in these cases. So I'll get a bail in this one, and then I'll be taken into another one, the three one they were mentioned. So I think that's what happened. I thought after that, after finishing those three, probably I'll be out. But then obviously there was the Public Safety Act, in which I was booked. And I think that is the time when I thought, okay, I was almost thinking that I'm gonna come out, and now there's a Public Safety Act. Now I have to spend more time. And that was the first time when I went to the prison, because before that I was in the custody, police custody only. And obviously, like when you are in custody, you are hopeful that you'll come out, and you're waiting eagerly for the hearings, and the bail happens, and you're like, okay, almost I might be walking out, I might be walking out. Then at one point of time, you're told, no, you're not walking out.
What was your family's reaction when this first started to happen? Were they, did they expect that you will be held back for that long? Or, was it as shocking for them as well as it was for you? Or were they completely unaware of what's going on?
Family, obviously, they didn't have the idea that what is the procedure and how it is going. Like in every hearing they would think like, okay, he's gonna walk out, like it might happen today, but it is, we don't know the procedure. So they were obviously surprised, and they didn't have an idea what was happening and how it is going to end, or what is the judicial process like. So they were surprised, and it was obviously very hard period on them. They told me multiple times while I was in prison also that we want to meet you, we can come there. And I continuously told them, no, I don't want to meet you here, because I didn't want them to have that memory in mind, like me behind that net and the glass and they talking on the phone. I did not want my parents to see me, like behind those iron bars and in a lockup or in handcuffs or something like that.
When you were inside the prison, did you ever spend time imagining that, when I get out, I'll do this, when I get out, I'll do that? Did you have any such, dreams of the outside when you were in there?
Well, there were lot of things. I think what really I found interesting was that, like when you're outside, when you're living free, and like you have everything around you, you take a lot of things for granted. Like you take relations for granted, you take friends for granted, family and everything. The little things you take for granted. Like if you look at a nice garden and there is green grass and flowers, you won't even look at it second time, because you're like, yeah, it is just there. But when you're all of this is taken away from you, then you start realizing, oh, like what am I missing? I think that was a very interesting realization in prison. There were a lot of little things that I really missed, like things like these, like nature, flowers, trees, a lot of little things that you would do And in the prison I was, it was really hot weather, and weather was really bad, and we come from Kashmir, it's a different weather here. So that was also very painful. So yes, obviously I used to think, like, I used to write names of things, I used to make a list of books I made. I used to read the Hindu newspaper, was like really a good like a partner. And then the weekly, the paper had this Sunday magazine which was filled with articles about books, interviews, new books. So I would read that paper very religiously, and then I would write in my diary that, oh, these are the new books that have come. Okay, I have to read this one, this one. So I would make a list that when I'm out, I have to buy all these books and I have to read these things. So I would make little notes on that. And then I would also think, like, I'll go here and there. Or in terms of the food, like in jail, it's a very different food. You eat like dal and stuff like that. And then I would be like, "वो बाहर जाके ये करेंगे," like you would eat this and that. But a lot of things changed then. Once you came out, it didn't feel same way once you came out. I think jail, like prison, really changes you. We learned something in prison very interesting, that if there used to be a fight between two people during the day, that we used to say that before the you go to sleep, you had to end this fight. So every time on in our night prayer, during the night prayer, the two people would be brought up and they would be like told to, you need to fix this, like you need to talk to each other, you need to resolve what is the issue. You cannot go to sleep having this fight going on, because you really don't know what you have today is, are you gonna have it tomorrow. Like, I'll tell you, on 4th of Feb 2022, I was thinking during the day, okay, in the evening I'll go and we'll have coffee. But in the evening I was sleeping in a dark cell. And I think that change is visible in you. You see it, you see that you have changed. Often I may be like, busy in my work and here and there, but now the priorities also change. In terms of priorities change, like what comes first and what comes in. And in my case, like, there was a lot of effort that was put in by my friends, by my team, obviously, at the paper, and they really had to go through hard time. Like, I was obviously going through hard time, but they had to go through a very hard time in their lives. I think their personal lives, their professional lives got really affected. And that kind of is something that really affects me, that because of me there were six other people who were affected. But I'm really grateful that I have such people in my life, that I had those people I could trust, and people who were with me through thick and this thin.
Uh, are you have you gone back to doing journalism again? Are you writing, and what kind of work are you doing right now since you're released?
Well, I am associated with a very professional and a very great team of the CS Monitor in Boston, and I have been associated with them since 2012, and I have been working for them from here. And I have been a correspondent with them for almost 6, 7 years now. And they have been with me through this journey, through my prison period. They were there for me, my family, my colleagues, and supporting me in every way they can. So I'm very grateful to them. And obviously, after I came back, they obviously said that, whenever you're ready, you can restart your work. So I'm writing for them right now for CS Monitor.
So, a lot of my conversations with formerly incarcerated journalists and activists seem to suggest that the experience of having been in jail and having gone through this whole process, which can be quite daunting, does tend to percolate into their writing and their reportage as well. Do you experience any of that? Do you feel that there might be a slight sense of fear when it comes to speaking your mind now?
Well, obviously, I think, it depends also, like, what have you gone through? Like, if you have gone through worse, obviously the level of fear or level of change will be much increased. And it also depends on the time, like, if you're in the early 20s and you go in the prison, you go to the prison, you walk out and you are a completely, you say different things. But if you're in like late 50s, you go to prison, you walk out, you say different things, because priorities and responsibilities change with time, with age. There are different things that become priority, like I was saying. But I don't think, like, if you're truly a journalist, I think if there is something which is like a story, which is a story, and it is happening, and you have everything that qualifies as a proper piece of journalism, I think you would still report it. I think, yes, there is one thing that I guess comes into the mind, is that you become careful. That is absolutely true. That I think that is what happens if you have spoken to other people also. I'm not sure if they said the same thing, but yes, you become careful about how you're doing it, what you are doing. You become careful that you have properly sourced. You become careful that you have everything in place, that you're not missing anything. You, I think, commit less mistakes in terms of something. You don't do things in rash or, like in something like that. You become a little careful about how you're working, and that is, I think, in the longer run, a good thing.
And how do you find the internet space now? Are you active on social media at the moment? Are you still using Twitter or X
No,
for?
I'm not using like in my bail order there was nothing like that. I can't use social media or anything. But I think after I was released, there was another order that was added to one of my bail orders in Kashmir, that I should not be allowed to use social media or anything like that. So right now I am barred to use social media legally. So that's why.
Also, now that you're back to writing again, which is a very good thing, do you think you're going to be writing about your prison experience?
I think yes, like in the prison, like obviously I was making notes and I have some thoughts. Like, yes, I will be writing about this because it's a long experience. Like, if it would have been a very shorter one, few months, then I may not. But obviously, there are a lot of stuff that one feels and one goes through in the prison. So, yes, about the experience, how I felt and what it was like, I will be writing about that.